Okay, so welcome to episode 3 of Road to the First Show. Tonight we're going to be training legs. Little update overall, I suppose, on how things are going. I did miss a week of YouTube. Essentially, I had to do a little laptop upgrade because my old laptop didn't really have the power to edit the videos on and didn't really have the storage space to edit the videos on either. So I have missed a week, but I'm going to shoot another session on Sunday, my delts and arms session, and probably upload both in the same week. So we're about 5 weeks into the bulk now. We are almost 10 kilograms up from our cut weight, which is pretty fucking aggressive, to be honest. I'm considering taking a little diet break and a little deload soon, just to kind of reset a little bit and just kind of take a steadier progression, because things have been a little bit hectic. But so we're sitting at 84 kg compared to 74 at the end of the cut. All lifts have really shot up, which is what we should expect into a lean bulk. But anyway, let's get into legs. So what we're working with today is squat into Bulgarian split squat, into leg extension, hamstring curl, ab crunch, and a leg raise. I might superset those, to be fair. We've also got a little bit of back, because now that I'm in a calorie surplus, I'm finding that I can actually take on a little bit more volume than I could, obviously, in a cut. So I'm adding some extra volume into the back workouts, hopefully try and grow the back a little bit more. So for that, we've got close grip pull down and unilateral curl. The squats are great, so we're going to start with squats. You just finished a shift, so we're going to have to really dig in. Also had a thrown together meal that consisted of serene bars and a protein shake. Less than ideal. Match calories, match protein, still does the job. At the end of the day, all that really matters is, have you got your calories in, have you got your protein in, and are you eating good quality food most of the time? As long as the answer to that is yes, then you're on the way. So let's get into it. So, kicking off legs with the barbell back squat. Same principle as it is with deadlifts. Is it essential to do compound squat, back squat from the barbell? When the risk of injury is a little bit higher, it's a very technical movement. No, of course there's no reason to do a barbell back squat. However, throwing in as in, totally said I was going to quit these things. We're tapering down. But I include compound barbell lifts because primarily I enjoy them. They're guaranteed to grow me, as long as I keep getting stronger on them. When it comes to modifying a plan or building a plan for yourself, one of the biggest things just comes down to pure enjoyment. If you enjoy your training plan, if you're seeing progress in it and you're enjoying it, you're going to have motivation to train. I want to talk a little bit more today on motivation for training. Touched on it the last episode as to what my motivation is. We're going to talk today a little bit about how motivation is like a little bit of a myth. And what I mean by this is, I couldn't be fucked to train today. I genuinely had no motivation whatsoever to come in and train, but nevertheless, I showed up, and I'm still going to give it my all to training. Why? Because it is so embedded into my routine now that it's just become part and parcel of who I am, my identity. So I can even show up on the days where I don't really want to. Plus, you're pretty much guaranteed that once you start moving, start getting into the session, 9 times out of 10, you're going to continue and finish it. And generally speaking, your results are always going to be better if you show up more often than not. Even just coming in and getting a little bit of stimulus, even if it's not your best work, is at the least going to maintain you, but more than likely it's still going to progress you. And if it isn't your night, like I had the other night, where I forgot my lifting straps and deadlifts weren't happening for me, then you can call it there and come back the next day. There's nothing stopping you. Actually just showing up and making a routine habit out of showing up, even if you don't complete your session, is a really good thing if you want to start building the habit, and again, building gym into part of your routine so that after a while it becomes as natural as waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth. I think it was Arnold that said, somebody asked him why he keeps training even though he's old now. He basically said something along the lines of, he's eating breakfast every day of his life, same as he probably trained most days of the week, because he was a high volume guy, trained a lot. There's that embedded in his routine now. Why? Just because he's old, would he stop doing that? And that's the place you want to get to. When it comes to squatting, I'm a big fan of Tom Platt style, deep squat. Really getting the quads as stretched as possible, making this movement a killer lower bodybuilder. Pretty much everything I do now is full range of motion, deep stretch. it's shown for me to be the best way of building muscle, because when it comes to building muscle, it's more about the way in which you move it as opposed to just getting from A to B. Feeling the tension as you go, feeling the movement as opposed to just throwing weight around. So as with all movements, we're going to start with really like warm up, just the barbell, get a feel for the movement, get it greasing the groove. When it comes to your back squat setup, I'm not going to go into back squat setup. I'll probably do a training video on it at some point. I don't want these videos to just be me throwing out technical movement breakdown. It's supposed to be a bit of fun really, where I just chat some shit and take you along for the journey. So I'm not going to go over squat setup. If you want that, let me know. I'll do a squat movement breakdown. I'm not even really the most technical when it comes to squats. My only cues are go deep, stay tight. That's it. Barbell completed, mate. One place. So I think my top set is, for last leg day, 130 kg for 5. So I think what I'm going to try and do this week is take a 2.5 kg weight progression and get 132.5, 4 or 5 reps. So we're working with, in the top set of the squat, really low rep ranges. Why? Because that's going to be the easiest for now to take strength increases, which, as I was talking about, at the minute is a source of motivation for me. Studies show that a rep range of 5 to 30 is productive for muscle growth. So everything that I do is going to be in a 5 to 30 rep range. I don't know about you, but anything above 20 reps sounds like fucking hell. So it's very rare that I'll go over 20 reps, only really if I've misjudged weight. And if I'm trying to take a set to failure and it's too light, I'll go above 20 if I've decided that that set is a working set. 80 kg on the bar. If you're not already, squat about shoes. Most shoes are going to have a built-in heel, which I suppose in squats can be an advantage, but unless it's a Olympic lifting shoe, where it's actually got like the block heel, you're pressing from an unstable base. You want to really connect to the floor when it comes to squatting. Most shoes aren't going to allow you to connect the same way. You're going to be pushing off an unstable base. Pushing off an unstable base is not ideal. Right, we're 20 kg on the bar. You're going to try and take a little bit more time with the descent and really make sure I'm feeling this. Things feel stable. Well, 130 kg on the bar. I'm going to go for just one of those single reps, getting a feel for the weight, seeing how that load feels on my back before I decide where we're going to, because last session was 130 for 5, so it was this weight for 5. I'm going to see how it feels on the back and consider taking that weight increase. If not, the other option we have here, oh, chewing gum. That's been there for time. Probably best not to eat one of those. The other option we got is potentially going for 6 reps at 130, but your boy wants to take a weight progression because I want to get to 3 plate squats, you know what I mean? It just sounds nice. So, we're just about to hit our top set here. It really is important to give your working especially top sets, but every real working set, maximum attention. So I personally use music to get hyped. We don't want to get too chaotic, too aggy, to the point where you kind of lose all composure, all accuracy, which I'm guilty of doing, granted. But you're literally putting every little bit of focused attention into that movement itself. I want you to imagine that every single movement is a skill, an independent skill from movement to movement. And the movements in your program, you're trying to, over time, become a master at each and every single one. The execution gets better, the intensity gets better, your strength goes up over time. You add volume if necessary, even though I'm a high intensity, low volume guy. And you work through that way. Absorb that. So we were going for 5 there. What did we get? We got 3. So looking back at the speed of that rep, I think it was a good call to call it, because I don't think I'd have got the 4th. My head feels like it's going to explode. So we've at least taken a progression on our back off set of squats. To be fair, I feel like we could still say that the first working set was a progression, because we took more weight, albeit for 2 less reps. And the weight difference was only 2.5 kg, but still a progression nonetheless. Okay, now we have everybody's favourite exercise to hate, the Bulgarian fucking split squat. This is a hard movement. The favorite variation at the moment is just using the Smith machine and getting the bench as the back leg support. I find the Smith machine to be a little bit easier because the bar path is fixed, so it helps with stability. This one really is a quad and glute builder primarily. It's also actually really just good for developing flexibility through the hip, because you've basically got an active hip stretch going on here. As long as you take it to full range of motion, touch my knee to the back floor there, literally going as deep as I can. After squats though, not much fun, cannot lie. Really focusing now on doing slow eccentrics. I didn't so much on the squat, to be fair. If I do go for that deload, I might reset squats and deadlifts for a little bit. Take some slower, more controlled eccentrics, because ultimately, as much as I'm chasing some strength numbers for my own personal goals and enjoyment, that's not necessarily what's going to build the best muscle according to the science. Ten reps, that's a nice pleasant surprise. Now, all I have to do is match that on the right side. I hate unilateral work so much. Whew. I don't even want big legs, fuck it. I mean, all in all, considering it's a session I really didn't want to show up for, not bad so far. 2 concrete set progressions. And you know, it's really the sessions that you don't want to show up for that will make a difference. Not saying that taking part in a session when you don't feel like taking part in a session has any boost to muscle growth, because that'd be stupid. However, essentially, bodybuilding, but also really any form of training is, I suppose, if you're trying to become the best at it, a battle against time. Ultimately, there comes a point where your performance as you age begins to follow a downward trend. You're trying to become the best that you can before that starts to happen. And it's consistency and little daily efforts that move towards doing that. So if you show up on the days you don't feel like training out of a year, think about how many total days you don't feel like training and how many therefore sessions you would miss in a year because you don't feel like training. Let's say that's only 20 days a year. That's 20 sessions that you've missed. Take those 20 sessions, consider, and for some people it might be more than 20. To be honest, at certain phases in my training, it's nearing 50% of the sessions I really don't want to go to, in which case the numbers are a lot higher than 20. But let's say theoretically it is 20 sessions. Think about the process those 20 sessions lead to across the year, across 3 years, across 5 years, across 10 years. It's going to start to build up. There are of course times where you really shouldn't train. If you're really ill, if you're really fatigued, if you're due a deload. But for the most part, if it's just mentally you can't be fucked, I'm telling you, just go anyway. You might wonder why I always kind of highlight exactly what I'm going for. It's because with my approach to training, I am fucking meticulous. I know exactly week to week what I'm looking for, based on the previous week, based on how well things have been moving. And I try to be the same with clients. I don't like to leave things to chance. It's a numbers approach, a scientific approach. I like guaranteed progress. Otherwise, why the fuck am I here? It's worth doing that in your own journey. Reflect, are you actually making progress? Because otherwise, what is the point? If you've got a goal, obviously, training comes with its whole host of other positive benefits. Mental clarity, emotional well-being. I could list off so many. And obviously it's worth doing just for the sake of doing it, even if it's just putting your effort into something. However, most of you out there aren't going to the gym just to feel better, even though it does do that. I am therapy. Most of you want to get fucking jacked. And if you want to get fucking jacked, most of you want to get jacked. And if you want to get jacked, you need to be doing the right things. You need to be seeing progress. You need to be measuring what gets measured, gets improved. 11 reps, all death. And a half. Okay, now moving on to the hamstring curls. If my legs didn't already feel like jelly enough. Oh. I just feel pretty queasy, which is, or at least can be, a common sort of thing for people that train legs really hard. I haven't actually thrown up in a session. No, that's a lie. I did throw up in one session. I might have been two actually. For the most part, I genuinely don't throw up. Maybe it's the malt lift bars and the little protein shake before I started, and the pre-workout. Stim free though. Yeah, it could be something to do with that. Yeah, it might have something to do with it, now that I think about it. Hope you guys out there like the angle. This is what I would call the sus angle. I don't honestly know how else I've recorded though, so enjoy. Second warm-up set. Moving quickly with it now because the legs are warm already. So no need to piss around. All right, working set with 11 for progression. So once again, 11 or death. So that is the bulk of legs done now. We're on to abs. I've tried a few different ab variations. I used to actually really like the machine abs. We don't have an ab machine here, at least not that I can find. We've got the old like Nautilus pullover, which I suppose you could use for abs, but I haven't really gelled with it. So we're going back old school. We're literally just doing crunches, although we're going to utilize a plate as we get to the top. We're going to utilize a plate after we do a quick little warm-up feeler set to add some load and resistance. Taking it back old school, man. A regular crunch. I can tell my hamstrings are fried because I can feel our hamstrings activating just in this seated position, which is not good. To be fair, I think we can jump straight into this because the abs have already taken somewhat of a pounding from squats. First working set, crunches. I don't know why I feel so dumb. I don't know why I feel so dumb doing this, but I feel a good connection, so. Oh. I need some in-ear headphones, man, because this cannot run. Okay, here we go. So last movement I'm going to show today, as far as you guys are going to see, I'll do the back and bicep movement off camera because I've already got a pull day and there's no point seeing those again because it's pretty much more or less just the same thing. It's got hanging leg raises. This is literally just a couple of sets of body weight to pretty much failure. Nothing special about it. Let's get this wrapped. My abs are fucking fried. Right, let's get out of here. All right, so successful leg session overall. I feel like we took progressions on most movements. But the only one that was a slight disappointment was squats, and really it's not that it was necessarily a disappointment, because on the technicality we still took a weight progression, but I do feel like 130 to 5 and 132.53. It's not really a confident progression, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that really classifies as a confident progression. I wouldn't say it qualifies too much as a confident progression. I feel like if you can squat 134.5, you probably can squat 132.53. Either way. Annoyingly, I think most of the leg pump is probably gone by now. Can you even see my legs? I feel like you can't. Barely. But yeah, believe it or not, quads used to be one of the most responsive muscles. Just want to over to the other mirror because I feel like you can see a little bit better. It's actually a slightly better light. Those are actually slightly better lighting. So yeah, quads actually used to be my strongest muscle group. Less so these days, I would say. But before, they really did used to like blow the rest of my physique out of proportion. Lighting is still. I'm going to do a straight one shot because the mirror shots aren't working. But yeah, quads used to be probably the most prominent muscle group. I actually fell off last year because I got a little bit of a knee injury. Which I then basically use as an excuse just to basically skip legs. We're still not in a bad place, but I feel like if I actually give them some care and attention, they can once again be one of the strongest body parts. Hamstrings have definitely come on. I basically had none before. So you can see just a little bit separation dropping down there. That's what you want. Alright, enough of the zesty leg shots. I mean, bodybuilding really already is about as zesty as sports tend to be. Well, I always find like I always feel a certain way about rolling my shorts all the way up and showing off the legs and the quads, and you can like just see the bottom of my glute, my ass poking up. Anyway.